There was a night, not long ago, when a young man sat alone on the floor of his room, phone in hand, staring at a message he was too afraid to send. He had failed again. Not for the first time, and probably not for the last. His business had collapsed, his friends had stopped calling, and the voice inside his head kept whispering the same cruel sentence over and over. You are not enough. He wanted to give up. He wanted to close his eyes and disappear into the silence of defeat. But something strange happened that night. Instead of breaking completely, something inside him cracked open, not in destruction, but in awakening. He realized that the pain he was feeling was not the end of his story. It was the beginning of his transformation.
Because here is a truth nobody tells you when you are struggling. Mental strength is not something you are born with. It is something you are forced to build, one broken night at a time. If you are watching this video right now, there is a good chance you are going through your own version of that night. Maybe you failed an exam you studied hard for. Maybe someone you loved walked away without looking back. Maybe you are exhausted from pretending to be okay when everything inside you is falling apart. And maybe, just maybe, you have started to believe that you are weak, that you cannot handle life the way other people seem to handle it.
I want you to listen carefully, because what I am about to tell you will change the way you see your own pain forever. Weakness is not the problem. Your mind convincing you that pain means weakness. That is the real trap. The strongest people you admire, the ones who seem unshakable, the ones who walk through storms without flinching, they were not born that way. They were broken first. They cried in silence first. They doubted themselves first. And then, one day, they made a decision that changed everything. The decision to keep going anyway. This video is not going to give you empty motivation that disappears the moment you close your phone.
This is going to give you a mindset shift, a real one. The kind that stays with you when life gets hard again. Because it will get hard again. That is not pessimism. That is reality. And the only question that matters is this. When life knocks you down again, will you know how to get back up? Stay with me until the end, because I am going to show you exactly how mentally strong people think differently, why your current struggle might be the greatest gift you never asked for, and what you must do starting today to build a mind that cannot be broken. Let's talk about pain first. Because pain is where mental strength is born. Most people run from pain. They numb it with distractions, with endless scrolling, with noise that drowns out the silence where their real thoughts live. But here is something almost nobody tells you. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is information. It is your mind and body telling you that something needs to change, that something needs to grow. When you break a muscle in the gym, it does not stay broken. It heals back stronger than before. Your mind works exactly the same way. Every heartbreak, every failure, every moment you thought you could not survive, that was not weakness breaking you down. That was strength quietly building itself inside you, even when you could not feel it happening. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that the people who seem the most mentally strong are usually the ones who have suffered the most? That is not a coincidence. That is the entire secret. Mental strength is not the absence of struggle. It is the presence of struggle that you refuse to let destroy you. Think about anyone you deeply respect. A parent who worked 3 jobs to feed their children. An athlete who tore a ligament and came back stronger. A friend who lost everything and rebuilt their life from nothing. None of them became strong by avoiding pain. They became strong by walking straight through it, again and again, until pain stopped scaring them. So how do you actually build this kind of strength? It starts with a decision that most people are too afraid to make. The decision to stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. Some days you will feel powerful, and some days you will feel like giving up completely. Mentally strong people do not wait to feel ready. They act even when they are terrified, even when they are exhausted, even when every part of them wants to quit. Discipline is what carries you on the days motivation abandons you.
And every single time you choose discipline over comfort, you are casting a vote for the person you are becoming. Your mind is always listening to your actions, and it believes what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally say.
Here is something that will shift the way you see failure forever. Failure is not proof that you are not good enough. Failure is proof that you tried something most people were too afraid to attempt. Every person who has ever built something meaningful, a business, a body, a dream, a new life, has a graveyard of failures behind them that nobody talks about. The difference between someone who becomes mentally strong and someone who stays stuck is not talent, and it is not luck. It is their relationship with failure. Weak minds see failure as the end of the road. Strong minds see failure as a required class in the education of becoming who they were meant to be.
There is another secret weapon that mentally strong people use, and it might surprise you. It is silence. Not silence out of fear, but silence out of power. When people doubt you, when they whisper behind your back, when they wait for you to fail, so they can say, "I told you so," the weakest response is to argue, to explain, to beg for their approval. The strongest response is silence, the kind of silence that says, "Watch me." Because your energy is limited, and every second you spend trying to convince someone who has already decided not to believe in you is a second stolen from your own growth. Let your results speak the language your words could never explain.
Now, let's talk about the voice inside your head, because this is where the real battle for mental strength actually happens. You will never be able to control everything that happens to you. The people who leave, the opportunities that slip away, the days that fall apart without warning, but you can control the conversation happening inside your own mind. Most people unknowingly become their own worst enemy. They call themselves stupid when they make a mistake. They call themselves worthless when someone rejects them. They repeat the exact insults their pain wants them to believe until those insults start to feel like facts. Mentally strong people do something different. They separate their emotions from their identity. They allow themselves to feel disappointed, angry, even broken for a moment, but they refuse to let a temporary feeling define a permanent truth about who they are. Feelings visit, identity stays. Do not let a visitor redecorate your house. I also want you to understand something about comfort, because comfort is quietly one of the most dangerous forces working against you. Comfort feels safe, but comfort is where growth goes to die. Every time you choose the easier option, snoozing the alarm instead of getting up, avoiding the hard conversation instead of having it, giving up on the goal instead of pushing one more day, you are not protecting yourself. You are training your mind to quit. And that training does not stay isolated to one area of your life. It leaks into everything. But the opposite is also true. Every single time you choose discomfort on purpose, waking up early even though it's hard, having the difficult conversation even though it's scary, showing up to train even though you don't feel like it, you are proving to your own mind that you are someone who does not run from difficulty. And once your mind believes that about you, nothing in this world can shake you the same way again. Let me tell you something that mentally strong people understand that most people never learn. You do not need everyone to believe in you. You do not need permission to be great.
You do not need the people who doubted you to apologize before you start building the life you actually want. Waiting for outside validation is one of the slowest forms of self-destruction because it hands your power to people who never earned the right to hold it. The moment you stop needing approval to move forward is the exact moment you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you stop needing life to be easy in order to keep going. So here is what I want you to take from everything you have just heard. Mental strength is not about never breaking. It is about what you do after you break. It is choosing discipline over motivation, growth over comfort, silence over explanation, and identity over emotion.
It is refusing to let one bad chapter convince you that the book is over. Every person you admire for their strength was once exactly where you are right now, tired, doubting, wondering if they had anything left to give.
The only difference between them and everyone who gave up is that they decided, in their darkest moment, to take one more step. Just one, and then another. And slowly, without even realizing it, that becomes a person nothing can break. If this reached you today, do not let it just be words you heard and forgot by tomorrow. Let it be the moment you decided to stop being a prisoner of your pain and start becoming the architect of your strength.
Subscribe if you want more of this in your life, because there will be more days you need to hear this again, and I will be here every time you do. Drop a comment right now with one word, the word strong, as your promise to yourself that today is the day you stop breaking and start building. Your storm is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your strength. Get up. You were never meant to stay down.